Yes, Prabhuji started recording.
Okay, sure.
Prabhuji, the text also said that Krishna is the soul of the soul and the soul of the super soul. I never thought that soul, the super soul also had a soul.
Oh, that's like how how it is like the one candle is the origin of every other candle, like that. Like how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, again in the Chaitanya Charitamrita itself, Prabhupada quotes that. We'll find that in teachings of Lord Chaitanya also. That Krishna is the original candle. So in that sense, he's the soul of the all, soul of the Paramatma also, like that. Yes, I too did notice it, but it's in the sense of the candle.
Okay.
To demonstrate the principle that Krishna is the avatari, or even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna are the avataris, they from whom everything else emanates.
Okay.
Very good, Prabhuji.
And in the spiritual body also, the soul is Krishna. I mean, in this, when the person achieves the spiritual body, then in the heart, the soul is Krishna. How is it?
Yeah, he's the Atma of the he's the Paramatma of the. I mean, in the sense that see, it is not like see the specific word Paramatma refers to Krishna's expansion in this material world, actually. No. So that's the only sense in which the word Paramatma is used. But when it says Atma of the Atma, it means that see, for example, there, matter cannot survive without spirit, right? Matter needs spirit for its functioning. So like that, if, for example, let's say the Paramatma. Okay. This material world is matter. This whole gigantic universe cannot function without the presence of the Paramatma. So Paramatma is not there only in our hearts, but there is Paramatma of the universe also, right? So matter by itself cannot function without the presence of Paramatma. So in that, so here of course there is a the specific word Paramatma is used here, but when it comes to the spiritual world, the term Paramatma is not used, but the idea that Krishna is the uh, is the is the sustaining principle or sustaining person, that still remains. The concept still remains, although the expansion is Paramatma is for this material world, but there still the concept of we are coming from Krishna. So it's like, how do you say, our origin in this material world are our parents. But similarly, the origin of the jivas is Krishna. So there is a certain form of dependency of the jivas on Krishna. Except for the free will, there is dependence in every other feature of the jiva's life. Except free will, there is complete dependence on Krishna. So in that sense, it is mentioned that he is the Atma, like that.
Okay, the ashray, that the way they were explaining earlier.
Yeah, but when it comes to Paramatma, we are a little bit, when it comes to expansions of Krishna, they are slightly different. It's only used in the sense of origin. They're only used in the sense of origin, but not in the sense of they're all ashraya. Like all the expansions of Krishna are also ashraya. They are not ashrita. But all the expansions of Krishna have their origin in Krishna. That's all. But they are, in that sense, they is referred to as soul of the Paramatma also, but not in the sense of ashrita. They are not ashritas. Only the living entities, they are considered as ashrita, like that. Expansions of Krishna are not considered as ashrita. They are ashraya. Is it okay?
Yes, Rory. Thank you so much.
Very good, Prabhuji. Can I ask some questions?
Sure.
In the chapter which when we were reading, it was mentioned that about six opulences of Krishna.
Yes.
So can you explain what were they? What are they?
Okay. See, there is a specific definition of God that is given by Parashara Muni. Parashara Muni is the father of Vyasadeva. I don't recollect the Sanskrit verse. It begins the Aisharasya Samakrasya, which is translated by Srila Prabhupada in the beginning of the Krishna book, where he defines who is Krishna. Krishna is all attractive. What is the meaning of all attractive? All attractive means someone who is beautiful. Now, first of all, let me define the qualities which make a person attractive. So, someone is beautiful, they're attractive. Someone is knowledgeable, they're attractive. Someone is famous, they're attractive. Someone has strength, they are attractive. What did I say? First, it said was uh, beauty, knowledge, strength, famous. Somebody is famous, also they're attractive. Somebody is rich, is attractive, and somebody who's renounced is also attractive. So these six things make a person attractive. Now, in this material world, you may find persons who may have one or more of these attractive attributes in them, attractive features in them. Very rare to find somebody who has all the six. Very, very difficult. But one or two, it's not so difficult to find. Then how are they different from God? So if some human being has all the six, then is he equal to God? No. It is explained that even if a living entity has all the six uh, features, attractive features, still they cannot possess even one of them unlimitedly. They cannot possess even one of them unlimitedly. So Krishna possesses each of these features unlimitedly and simultaneously. All six plus each of them unlimitedly. That is the definition of Krishna. That is the meaning of Krishna. The one who is all attractive. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I have another question. It was mentioned that those who do mystic yoga, their realization of Krishna is different from those who do bhakti yoga. How are they different? In what terms are they different? Can you mention that?
Yeah. So Krishna explains that there are three. Okay, just like when you are riding from far away, when you see a mountain, you will just see a certain image. That's it. But as you get closer to the mountain, you will find some features of the mountain, right? You will find some trees, some from the far away. Then when you enter the mountain, you'll find living entities in the mountain. So like that, Krishna is one person. It is not that Paramatma, it's not that Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan are three different people. In the sense that they are three aspects of the absolute truth. Depending on a person's realization, they can either realize only the energy of God, which is called Brahman, or they can realize Paramatma aspect of God, or they can realize Brahman as a Bhagavan aspect of God. The three aspects of God. God has energy. God has as the Lord who is seated in our heart, and the Lord who is in Vrindavan, Bhagavan. So, depending on a person's qualifications, they are able to realize. So, with the process of Jnana Yoga, one can only realize the energy of God, Brahman. So, it's like seeing a mountain from far. Those who are not practitioners, they cannot see anything actually. But the practitioners of Jnana Yoga can see a mountain. But the practitioners of Ashtanga Yoga can see Paramatma, which means they can see trees from, I mean, they're closer to the mountain, so they can see trees and all that. So, but those who are practicing Bhakti Yoga can see what is inside the mountain also. There are living entities, beautiful variety within the mountains. No? So, like this, depending on what they are practicing, they can realize God to that extent. And each feature, for example, Brahman God is Satchid Ananda. Okay. So when we say we realized Brahman, we're realizing the eternal aspect of God. Okay. So when we realize Paramatma, it is Sat and Chit aspect, eternal nature of God and also the knowledgeable feature of God. When we realize Bhagavan, we realize eternal, knowledgeable, and blissful, Ananda, which means we can interact with the Lord. He has pastimes which produce Ananda. So these are the three features of the absolute truth, and which is realized by different practitioners. The Jnana Yoga practitioners realize Brahman, the Ashtanga Yoga practitioners realize Paramatma, and the Bhakti Yoga practitioners realize Bhagavan. Is it okay?
Yes, yes. Very detailed answer. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Anandita Jana Mataji, we have been missing you for a long time. Welcome back.
Hi Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji. How are you? Even I was
Fine.
also missing these classes.
I am in Sri Vrindavan Dham, very close to you all.
Jai. Please, when are you coming to Gurgaon?
Well, let's go ahead with the question now. That
Okay. Prabhuji, through by the term the soul of the super soul, can we understand in this way also? Because Shiva Vikshaya Vishnu is one of the expansion of Krishna. So Krishna is the source. So can we understand in this way also that he is the soul of the, Paramatma feature, the Shiva Vikshaya Vishnu?
that's what I explained. See, for example, Paramatma is a specific expansion within the heart of all living entities. Okay, in the material world, that's the only term in which the only manner in which the word Paramatma is used. So that's why I'm reluctant to use the word Paramatma. But yes, he is the origin. In that sense, yes. Because
Okay, in the
Paramatma, as I was
material world,
explaining just now, Paramatma, as I was explaining just now, has only the Sat and Chit aspect of God, right? There is a
okay.
feature which is present in that is a feature for the material world.
Okay, Prabhuji. So in the spiritual world, in Golok, Krishna is there, right? No
Yes,
Paramatma. So in other Vaikuntha planets like Saket Dham, Nrsimh Dham, so there the Paramatma, I mean the soul of the super soul would be Nrsimh Dev Ramji as will it be like this? Or Krishna would be the only
no, no,
one?
Krishna is the soul of all the it's of see, he's the avatari. That's the basic idea. The
Hmm.
avatari is the soul of all the souls. I mean, all
Hmm.
the so I mean, all of the souls and the super soul. I could okay, all the souls and God, other expansions of God in that sense,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
he's a source. That's it. We don't have to conceptualize in terms of uh, a specific form of God sitting in the heart of a soul in the spiritual world and things like that. Don't have to necessarily conceptualize it like that, unless we read it somewhere that there is a certain conception of God in the spiritual world. We just take it that in the spiritual world also the Lord is the ashraya for these jivas. He is the principle of shelter. But other expansions, they are not. They are not. So the souls are ashrita. But other expansions of God, they are not ashrita. They are also ashraya principles only. But at the same time, they have originated from Krishna. In that sense, he is considered as the soul of all beings. That's all.
Yes,
Which our
Prabhuji.
acharyas explain, just like if you have a moon, you have a full moon. So the full moon is the full manifestation of the moon. It is not that when there is half moon, the moon has become half. Moon has not become half. Moon is still the moon. We are only seeing a certain manifestation of that moon. That's all. Right? Moon is not cut into half there. Moon is moon. Similarly, all the expansions of God are the same as God. Identical. There is only one God. That's the meaning of it. Otherwise, there'll be different categories of God, no? There are different categories of God. I mean, higher God, lesser God, and all that. Nothing like that. All of them are identical. But Krishna is like the full moon. He's the full manifestation of God. Others don't manifest everything that God has. All the features of God. That's all. All the 64 features of God are not manifested by attributes of God, are not manifested by all the expansions. They're just not manifested. It's not that they're not present. They're present, like the moon.
Yes,
Is that
Prabhuji.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thank you so much.
still, the fact remains that Krishna is the origin. Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are called avatari, which means that they are the source of even the Vishnu Tattvas, even the expansions of God. But they are not sustaining principle of expansions of God. Because say all the expansions of God themselves are the sustaining principles. So, but whereas Jiva, the sustaining principle is Krishna, is God. Is that okay?
Yeah. Prabhuji, last class I couldn't, I wasn't there. I couldn't hear because the recording didn't happen. Maybe whatever reason. So the last to last class, in which Sanatan Goswami meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and whenever I don't know how to put up this question, but whenever we hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, associates pastimes, especially these six Goswamis who were living so um, in renounced order, and they, I mean, each one of them are something quite unimaginable because how they were living, like Sanatan Goswami, Rup Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, they have left everything. And what not, the level of renunciation that they have shown is something very, very unimaginable, and it gives a very deep impact um, to my heart. So, how to understand? Like, I was thinking about. I always get overwhelmed when I hear or read about those pastimes. So, my question is that why? Because they are the eternal associates, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. Is it like that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted them to show, yet to live the life in such a way so that we can also get inspired, not get entangled with the material comforts and all, and be absorbed in them? Or we should take some lessons from them and try to imbibe in our lives. What should we take from these pastimes?
What we should take from these pastimes is the nature of their spontaneous love for Krishna and how we should aspire for that kind of spontaneous love for Krishna. Guru Maharaj once in lecture, he explained that just like a rocket, right? Rocket is propelled upwards. Means like there is that thing, there are gases. Okay, there is Newton's third law. Every action is an equal and opposite reaction, right? So it is due to you can see gases going downwards in a rocket, right? So because of which the rocket is propelled upwards. So, and then there is the example of the iron filings and magnet. Iron filings are naturally attracted by the magnet. So these great personalities, the eternal associate of the Lord, like are the iron filings and magnet. They are very spontaneously attracted to Krishna. But we are like those rocket. Due to distress, we may approach Krishna. Due to various reasons, we may approach Krishna. But it's not due to spontaneous attraction that we approach Krishna. So, the lives of the Goswamis show us that spontaneous attraction for Krishna is supremely powerful. It can overtake, it can overwhelm, it can completely override all material considerations. Tyaktva tu namashesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchava utva dina ganesha ko karunaya kaupina kantashrito. So what do? They were very aristocratic people. So many, like they were fabulously rich, fabulously rich. India was the richest country during that time. And They were earning thousands of gold coins every month. They were fabulously rich. They were like, what do you say? Probably like Elon Musk or something of today. Like very rich, very richest people in the whole of the, probably richest people in the whole of the earth. Of course, you could say kings are rich, but I'm not talking like that. But in terms of those who were apart from the kings, who had all the all the treasury money with them, I mean, you leave them apart. But because that's a different society, it's not a democratic society where you can classify the richest people and all that, like how we have. There, you had Kshatriyas always were more richer than everybody else. So I'm not talking like that. Leave the Kshatriyas apart. If you leave them apart, then Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami are very, very rich. So they gave up. How did they give up? Tyaktva tuna mashesha mandalapati. Mandalapati means aristocracy, aristocratic life. How did they give up? Sada tuchava. Tucha is a Sanskrit word, means insignificant, uninteresting, dull, boring, useless. You can use any, if you want, you can add some more words to that. So, and what did they do? They were just wearing simple clothes and wandering around in Vrindavan. Why? How? Prabhupada explains this. Gopi bhava rasam ritabdi lahari kallola magnam muhu. Vande rupa sanatano raghuyugo shri jiva gopalako. Gopi bhava rasam ritabdi lahari. They were absorbed in appreciating the love of the gopis for Krishna. So the love of the gopis for Krishna is a powerful meditation, is a powerful thing to remember. I'm not talking like some how sometimes devotees think, oh, Gopi Baba, Gopi Baba, Gopi Baba. This is not that. This is not what. This is not that Sahajism that I'm talking about. They were absorbed means they were thinking how these are the greatest devotees, and it is our good fortune to follow in their footsteps. And so, Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur and all our acharyas have come to teach us this Gopi Bhava. What is the essence of that Gopi Bhava? Bhutva Dina Ganeshakau Karunaya Kopina Kantashritau. So Ganeshakau Karunaya, which means that in this material world, the manifestation of that Gopi Bhava is trying to save the conditioned soul. So Lord Chaitanya had internal reasons for his appearance and external reasons for his appearance. So he wants to taste how Srimati Radharani loves Krishna. So he took the mood of Srimati Radharani. He's Srimati Radharani and Krishna combined. So what happens? He relishes Gopi Bhava, and at the same time, he also tries to save the conditioned souls. So so Gopi Bhava and trying to save the conditioned souls are two features of the same. I mean, two inseparable. They're one actually. In the material world, that Gopi Bhava is expressed in the form of compassion for the conditioned souls. So even Ramananda Rai, even Maharaj Prataparudra, who was rejected by Lord Chaitanya, not rejected, who Lord Chaitanya refused to meet. He was very attracted to Maharaj Prataparudra. When he saw Maharaj Prataparudra had the right attitude of a devotee, was sweeping the chariot of Lord Jagannath. And more specifically, when he was singing the Gopi Gita, when he sang the verse Tavakatamritam, Tapta Jivanam, Kavibiriditam, Kalmashapaham, Shravana Mangalam, Srimadatatam, Bhuvi Grinanti Ye, Bhuridha Jana. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in a trance when the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Maharaj Prataparudra to massage his lotus feet. And see, first of all, Lord Chaitanya is in Gopi Bhava. He's thinking of the gopis, how they were trying to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. He's in an ecstatic trance. And even from that ecstatic trance, he is shaken, again in ecstasy. And that same Maharaj Prataparudra, whom Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had refused to meet, he stands up and he embraces Maharaj Prataparudra and he says, "You are Burida. You are most merciful. You are most merciful. So the Lord who was in the ecstasy of Gopi Bhava becomes even more ecstatic, and so much more ecstatic and so much more pleased that he embraces Maharaj Prataparudra. So this Gopi Bhava, that's which is that particular verse says, Tavakatamritam, your nectarian topics, Tavakatamritam Tapta Jivanam, are the life of all the living entities. The Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham, it destroys all the inauspicious things. Shravana Mangalam, Srimadattatam, Bhuvi Grinanti. Those who distribute this message of Krishna are the most merciful, are the most merciful. So, in the material world, there are two things that you cannot do in the spiritual world. One is Sanatan Goswami explains this. Or Chaitanya is teaching to Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami explains in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. There are two things, two services to Krishna that you cannot render in the spiritual world. One is to kill demons, which it's not possible to kill demons because there are no demons in the spiritual world. So what can you do? You can't do anything there. The other is to preach. There everybody's a devotee. So what is there to preach? So in the material world, preaching is a very rare service. And Krishna says there's no one who is more dear to me than one who preaches. Right? So, and there's no one more dear to Krishna than the gopis also. So this Gopi Bhava and preaching go together. It is not some two separate things. So they're manifestations of the same thing in the spiritual world and the material world. Here in the material world, those who are pure devotees of the Lord, like the Goswamis, they experience life with Krishna in the mood of the gopis. They participate in Krishna's pastimes internally. Externally, they are Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Samstapako. They are writing the literatures to save the conditioned souls. So it is one thing that they're doing, but manifested in two different ways. One visible to us, one not visible to us. Of course, we can see their Gopi Baba, how they would be loitering in Vrindavan, and I mean, roaming the forests of Vrindavan, searching for Krishna. Hey Radhe, hey Vrajadevi, ke Chalalite, hey Nandasuna Kuto. So they are searching, hey Krishna, hey, hey Radhe, hey Krishna, where are you all? So you can see that, but at the same time, you cannot see what they're going through internally. But you can see what they're going, what their thoughts are when you read their literatures. So therefore, Prabhupada explains that one can understand Radha Krishna pastimes, the beginning of the nectar of devotion. He says, Rupa Raghunatha Pade, Hoibe Akuti. So when, sorry, what is that? I'm sorry, I'm not able to recollect the verse clearly. In the beginning of the nectar of instruction, in the preface, he says that when we become eager to understand the literature left by the Goswamis, then we will be able to understand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Okay. You asked me a short question, but somehow I gave you a very long answer.
Thank you. So that's why I was missing these classes, especially my questions and your replies. Thank you.
You're saying that you're missing the classes because of what? Sorry,
The classes, the most obviously the books that we were reading and the question and answer part. Because you
okay, sure.
take up the questions, you answer the question so very deeply. Thank you.
Okay,
So,
okay. Sorry. I think your voice
I
broke a little bit, so I couldn't hear you. Okay, now I hear. Okay, tell me. Go ahead.
What I've understood from your reply, if I'm incorrect, please correct me, that uh, these pastimes happen just because we can also develop these type of, obviously cannot do, but we can follow in the footsteps. We can imbibe, we can aspire to have this spontaneous attraction for Krishna. And the two things that you said, that to preach and to develop that spontaneous attraction for Krishna.
Spontaneous attraction for Krishna is a solution to all problems in life, because it is so overwhelming that everything else becomes insignificant.
So, and this will happen by just by reading books, by hearing from the pure devotees, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books in the association of devotees, obviously, right?
And following what is given in them.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
What other thoughts, questions, comments, reflections?
Prabhuji, I have two other questions, not from the class. If anybody doesn't have, then if you permit, then I will ask.
Let's see if someone else has something to ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, so this means that the goal of our sadhana bhakti is to aspire to have spontaneous attraction for Krishna?
Absolutely. That is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us. How from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we have to reach the stage of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti and then attain Bhava and Prema. Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti does not mean that both of them are Sadhana Bhaktis. Right now we're practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. But Raganuga is also called Sadhana Bhakti. But that is completely spontaneous. And from there we attain Bhava, then we attain Prema. So yes, that is the, what is that? That's the outstanding contribution of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came to teach us spontaneous attraction for Krishna and how to develop spontaneous attraction and love for Krishna.
And Prabhuji, we can only aspire to have spontaneous attraction for Krishna and continue with the process, and then that'll be bestowed on us once Guru and Krishna are pleased with the effort.
You have to pay a price actually. The price is laulyam, eagerness. There is a price that you have to pay. Tatryamalaulyam mulyamekam. So the only price to attain that is eagerness. And that's why what is the verse? I'm very poor in recollecting Sanskrit verses because I'm so used to English, even in college and all that. I was never into Indian languages. So I've always struggled with memorizing verses. So it is explained that if you, let me just say it in English, let me not break the flow of my thoughts. So, so it is explained that if one can somehow purchase that eagerness, then one should immediately purchase it. Somehow or the other. I mean, so one should never delay, which means that that eagerness is very rare, and that because that's the only price to attain prema bhakti. So if one can purchase that eagerness, one should purchase it at any cost. Rupa Goswami explains this.
Is it tatra ekalolyam cha mulyam cha?
Yes.
I still remember there was one Srila Prabhupada's lecture clippings. I don't have. Somehow I got it next time also, but I cannot find out. And Prabhupada, there was a very short lecture of Prabhupada, and I got absorbed in that lecture. And Prabhupada mentioned this shloka, and also the pastime of that one. Rupa Goswami says that one who is attracted to the three-bending form of Krishna, who is on the Keshi Ghat, and he mentioned that this was such a profound lecture, Prabhupada's lecture. I couldn't recollect it, couldn't get it again, but he mentioned that there.
This eagerness has been bestowed upon us. We should, like for example, I remember once Pankajangri Prabhu, in an offering to Srila Prabhupada during his Vyasa Puja, he mentioned how, especially those of us born in India, even before we took to Krishna consciousness, we have heard of Krishna. We have read probably Amar Chitrakatha or heard from father, grandfather, or whatever, grandmother. So many people we may have heard about Krishna. But was Krishna attractive to us? Did we have any eagerness to do anything? No. So who made Krishna attractive? Who bestowed that eagerness upon us? No. So that eagerness was bestowed upon by Prabhupada. So in that sense, we are greatly fortunate. I remember my wife used to do, I mean, she still does college preaching. So there is one girl who was from a Brahmin family, but very modern, who never have anything to do, never visit a temple, never have anything to do with the temple. So then what happened was that somehow she got this Bhagavad Gita. And she was so attracted by Prabhupada's presentation of the Bhagavad Gita that she started underlining all the different things. And a full book was full of underlines of different things, you know. And a spiritual master remarked to her that I've never seen Bhagavad Gita with so many underlines. So that means you've really studied the Bhagavad Gita. And I remember her mother, she met us first time in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And she asked us, tell us one thing. How is it possible that my daughter, who never even visited a temple, who just did not, was so, I mean, completely defiant when it comes to anything religious, how is it that she has become so much into this Krishna consciousness? What is it about? What is this? What is this about? You know? So this is what Prabhupada has done. That he has made Krishna attractive, and he has bestowed that eagerness for us in Krishna. In eagerness, so whatever level it may be, but right now we have some eagerness for Krishna. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here in Krishna consciousness. We have something which has been bestowed upon by Srila Prabhupada, and we just have to follow the direction that he has given, which means Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And if we find those who are eager to, those who have that eagerness for Krishna, do not delay. Somehow get it from them, you know. So like that. So this the key there in that verse is, do not delay. Janma koti sukritina labhyate, which means that even in millions of lifetimes, crores, janma koti, even in crores of lifetimes, you cannot get it. You know. So if somehow you can get it, do it now. Don't delay. So if you find some devotee who is very eager for Krishna, somehow or the other, serve them. So of course, Prabhupada is the founder Acharya. He has an eagerness. So which means that we should, first of all, be somehow or the other, even though we may not have a taste, even though we may have difficulty, somehow we should pick up Prabhupada's books and read every day. And then everything else will follow. Then Krishna will arrange for us, seeing our eagerness to read Prabhupada's books, he will arrange for us to be able to increase our eagerness in different ways, by meeting great souls, by arranging some service, so many different things. You know, so but if all the source of all eagerness, the origin is by our devoted study of Prabhupada's books, even if it is 5 minutes. It's a very, very important activity.
And Prabhuji, one thing that I realize very strongly today is that Prabhupada also, from the day one, he gave the best knowledge in his books. And then his followers also, like I remember Radhakishori Mataji telling us the same things that you're telling us today. But at that time, I could not grasp it like I'm able to do today, or grasp, no, appreciate it like I'm able to do today. And but you are also saying the same. So the thing is that Prabhupada gave us the best philosophy from the day one, and it's just the purification starts to happen, and the appreciation becomes more and more with each passing day as we go forward. I don't know how much I can understand right now. It's very negligible, but the appreciation definitely goes.
I mean, I had this realization that the greatest obstacle, one of the greatest obstacles, is the way we look at this world. I mean, if we stick to the way of Prabhupada is making us look at the world, then our progress becomes very smooth. When we look at the world differently than what Prabhupada is teaching us, then our programs become slow. Let me explain, like all the different people, the motivational speakers, the religionists, the philosophers, the spiritualists, everybody is simply trying to teach how to make life nice in this material world, or rather, they are trying to teach you to live in this material world. Let me put it like that. I mean, see, these are very crude I mean, once I explain it, you'll be able to get what I'm trying to say. So forget about the words I'm using right now. So, but Prabhupada consistently, everywhere, he teaches us how to leave this material world, which means that he's very clear. The only way to live in this world is by being Krishna conscious. The only way to live in this world is by being Krishna conscious. Any other way of living in this world is unacceptable. Because that's why in his books repeatedly says this material, see, just like heating and cooling, they're opposite energies, correct? But it's the same electricity. It can be used for heating or it is used for cooling. So the only thing that we know of in this material world is how to use the material energy for sense gratification. That's it. That's all that we know. How to mess up our lives using the material energy for sense gratification. But Prabhupada has come to teach us how to use the material energy for Krishna consciousness. So we should never forget that. We should not operate within that area of, oh, sense gratification is nice. Let me also be Krishna conscious. No, that's not how we are supposed to approach Krishna consciousness. Material energy is useless. Sorry, is useless when engaged in sense gratification. It has value when it is Krishna conscious. Okay, let me make it more clearer. There is, I mean, these motivational speakers and all these religionists, philosophers, they're all very famous. But what are they trying to do? I explained this in my last class. Let me explain a little bit more. What are they trying to do? They are trying to make the material world attractive or livable. The material world is neither attractive nor livable. The only thing that's attractive is Krishna consciousness. And the only thing that is livable is life in Krishna consciousness. So if we start listening to all these motivational speakers and all these things, we'll think material world is attractive, livable, so then we think how to live in this material world. But Prabhupada is teaching, no, material world is not attractive, it is not livable. This is the premise which he sets out, and throughout his books he clearly makes it. This is not a livable place. This is not a fit for a place for a gentleman. So because everybody in this world is using it for their sense gratification, using material energy for sense gratification. So if we realize this point, we do not want to be like anybody that we see. We don't want to be like anybody that we see in this material world, however lofty they may be in the estimation of material world. We don't want to be like them. We want to be different from them. How we want to be different? We want to simply serve Krishna. That's the only thing that's of value. The body has value when it serves Krishna. Bhagavatam explains it. Otherwise, it's like a dead body. The ears are like the ear holes of a snake. So that's explained again in the Bhagavatam. So the head is a burden. So if this is how they are all described. But when the energy is used, when the material energy is used in the service of Krishna, then the Krishna consciousness brings it some value. That's all. So independent of Krishna consciousness, everything material is nonsensical. That concept should be there. It's not that, okay, material, some sense gratification is okay, some this is okay, some that is okay. What is okay is what is permitted in Krishna consciousness. Because it is Krishna conscious, therefore it is permitted. That should be your understanding. It's not that we don't desire to live very nicely in this material world like how the karmis are trying to do. No, we know this is not an attractive place. We know that this is not a place fit for a gentleman. But while we are living here, let us be fully Krishna conscious. So let us live to leave. Lave. Let us not live to live here. Let us live to leave, which means we have no concept. We have no idea to engage the material world in our sense gratification or external sense gratification. No. We are only interested in Krishna consciousness. Again, I'm just speaking about the principle. Again, you must have heard this many times, but I'm just saying that we remain under the cloud. Like how do you say, a foggy, what is it? I mean, especially in winter, you can find this fog and a very gloomy day. The gloom doesn't have to be there. The gloom is there because if you look at most of our hankerings and lamentations, they're all related to the three modes of material nature. All our hankerings and lamentations. Do we hanker like the Goswamis? No. Do we lament like the Goswamis? No. I mean, that hankering and lamentation is spiritual. Our hankering and lamentation is all connected to this material world. Oh, I had a very good position, I lost it. Oh, I had so much money, I lost it now. I don't have so much money, I should become like that. I should become like Elon Musk. Let me attend some motivational talk. So it's all operating within these three modes. So we should give up that business and let Krishna plan our lives. We shouldn't plan our lives. Let Krishna plan our lives. So let me simply try to be Krishna conscious. And Krishna will plan our lives. And that is the real joy of life. The real joy of life is not to have a good house and good this and good that and all that. Just that the karmis are really doing it. There's nothing attractive in all these things. The attractive feature, even in a good house, is a temple and a kirtan in that house. The attractive feature in a family is the Krishna consciousness performed by the family members. We should remember all these things. The only thing which is attractive is Krishna consciousness. Everything else is dull, material concept of life. It may not appear dull. That's where the whole problem is. It does not appear dull because that's the covering of Mahamaya. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and says, please wake up. You're lying on the lap of a witch called Maya. You think it is very attractive. They're lying on the lap of a witch called Maya. Anyway, I can go on. So I think I'll stop there for now.
Thank you so much, Roji. Your words are very, very purifying. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, that was a beautiful explanation. You rightly said that, we had heard about Krishna, but Krishna was never so attractive to us, and there was no eagerness to know more and more about him. But in Krishna consciousness, that changes everything. Prabhupada's books, in fact, change everything. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I'm talking from Sri Vrindavan Dham, so that also has some effect actually. I'm feeling more inspired just by being here. And you brought up the topic, that too of the Goswamis. So
Please pray for us, please.
yes. Okay, now I'll come back to your question about, Anandita Mataji, the question about Gurgaon. Okay, see, I happened to come here not by plan, but just by Krishna's will. I didn't plan to come here at this point in time.